Long, long ago, in a magical forest full of mysteries and adventures, there lived a little dwarf named Willow. Willow was the smallest dwarf in the entire forest, but his heart was full of courage and dreams bigger than the sky itself. Willow lived in a small cottage hidden among thick leaves, not far from the mighty great tree. This tree was the largest and oldest in the entire forest. Its branches reached up to the sky, and its roots delved deep into the earth. The great tree was the guardian of the forest and its inhabitants, and Willow loved to spend time under its canopy, listening to tales of ancient times. One day, when the sun was shining brightly in the sky, Willow decided to embark on his greatest adventure yet. He wanted to explore new corners of the forest and meet magical creatures he had only heard about in stories. He packed a backpack full of supplies, a map of the forest drawn by the old owl Melchior, and his courage and determination. Following the path, Willow quickly forgot about time. He stopped to admire colorful flowers, peeked into tree hollows, and sometimes even played with forest animals. But eventually, he reached the densest part of the forest, where the sunlight barely penetrated through the branches. It was a corner he had not yet known. In the depths of the forest, Willow came across a pond surrounded by wildflowers and grasses. In the middle of the pond stood tiny, green dried leaves that looked like a small island. Willow decided to explore this mysterious island and jumped into the water. As he approached, he saw something that caught his attention, a small, silvery shell. He gently picked it up and listened to its delicate sounds. They sounded like a violin played by the greatest artist. It was the most beautiful sound he had ever heard. Then suddenly a figure emerged from behind the trees, seeming to come from distant lands. It was a nymph named Nerina, who was the guardian of the pond and the caretaker of the magical shell. Nerina greeted Willow with a smile, telling him about the mysterious sound that emanated from the shell. Fascinated by the sound, Willow decided to ask if he could try playing the shell. Nerina smiled and handed him the shell, and Willow began to gently stroke its edges. The sound that emanated from the shell was enchanting. It resonated throughout the forest, attracting animals and birds. Willow and Nerina spent many hours playing and singing by the pond. But evening came, and Willow realized he had to return to his cottage under the great tree before it got dark. On the way back, Willow thought about his adventure. He was grateful for meeting Nerina and for the opportunity to discover such a magical place. When he reached his cottage, he found a letter from Nerina on the table. It was an invitation to return to the pond to continue playing the shell together. The next day, Willow eagerly went to meet Nerina. Together they spent many days exploring the forest and uncovering its secrets. Their friendship grew with each passing day, and the music they created together was the most beautiful melody the forests had ever heard. Willow learned that even the smallest creatures can have the greatest impact on the world if they have the courage and determination to dream and act. And the great tree, which always stood as his anchor, witnessed all of his adventures and dreams. And so, the little dwarf Willow and the nymph Nerina spent many wonderful moments, sharing their passion for music and discovering the magic of friendship. Their story became a legend in the forest, reminding everyone that the greatest adventures start with small steps and big dreams.